Right, today I wanted to discuss the fact of living independently, because when you finish college, you might move on to either another college or university, or you are going to get older anyway and you're going to do independent living. Do you expect to live with your parents or your care workers all your life? And if you don't, what's your ideas for your future and your living accommodations? Does anybody want to start? Does anybody have any ideas of what they see themselves doing in, say, 5 to 7 years' time? Yes, Cameron?
I see myself living on my own, earning
In a job and paying rent?
paying rent, or buy my own house.
Okay. Do you feel that you could cope with cooking, cleaning, looking after
Yeah.
the flat in
You
general?
can't cook. You
And
just said.
also,
Well, then say that.
can you cook?
Not really. I can cook
But
certain
you know
things.
it'd be a skill that you would need to learn to
Yeah.
look after yourself. Yeah, fair enough. Liv, have you any ideas on what you would plan on doing?
Well, I need to work out my age.
Well, so let's take it from when you're 18.
I plan to go to university and live on my own in halls.
In halls.
What
So
help
that
do you need?
still is a room where you would need to cook for yourself and also clean as well, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, and also there would be the general maintenance of it.
I can cook. I can clean when I could be bothered. But it's more things like my anxiety.
Right.
I might need help because I might get scared, and then I might not have anyone there.
Yes, that's a good point. So the only downside is that you feel that you wouldn't be able to cope of an evening.
James Wilcox would like to join in
Yes, certainly.
because it is something that he wants to do. He
Yeah.
needs training in paying bills, looking after himself, but do it for real in a practice way.
Of course, what we're saying, James, welcome to the group, we're saying about independent living. Obviously, you don't want to be living with mum and dad all your life.
Yeah.
Do you plan on getting your own flat?
Yeah.
Okay, so are you aware that you would need to cook and clean? How do you feel about doing that?
Nothing wrong with it, does it?
Do you do that already?
Yeah.
So you're quite a good cook, aren't you? Because you've been on a catering course.
Yeah.
What about, as well, money budgeting? Because it's not just a case of, let's go into this flat, this has to be paid for. Do you have any ideas of what bills you would get?
Yeah.
What do you think?
You'll get your electric bill,
Yes,
your
Depends where you
gas
live.
bill,
yes,
and your water bill.
yes.
That.
Sometimes if you rent, they pay for it.
Sometimes when you rent, you're right, it's
It's
all
included.
included in the rent. That's why some rental properties are more than others. What do you think, Brandon? What's your opinion? How do you see yourself when you're 18?
About £64 a week, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So you just said that you planned on living away from mum. Do you plan to do that? Do you feel that you would be able to look after yourself?
Yeah, I would have trouble with money budgeting.
Money budgeting, so
Seems
you
to be fine.
you would know, and you would have trouble with that. So it's
Well,
something
I
that
don't
you would
know.
need to learn how to do.
I wouldn't. I'm
You would be
very
good
good
at
with money.
budgeting.
Yeah, I'm quite
So
sensitive.
but at least you're aware it is a potential problem. That I need to learn how to budget money. So you know that was a skill that you would need to learn.
I
I'd
already
have to give
Yeah,
my
that's
money
good.
to live. Can you keep an eye on this money
Yeah,
for me?
I
So
already
don't go-
budget, like each month I get a certain amount of money from my mum and dad, and I budget like what I have to buy, whether it's clothes or makeup, and then I set aside money for like going out with friends or something.
Yes.
So then I'm already learning to budget and save things.
Would you think
And I
going
tried
out
to
with
save
friends
money.
was important, the social
Yeah,
side of it?
There's so many
Yeah.
social life things.
But would you would also learn to prioritise. Would you say, I need to go to this party so I need a new outfit, but on the other hand I've only got enough for my rent? What would win?
Rent.
The rent.
And then just go in some old clothes,
Yeah.
and I'm sure they'd find
Why
it.
would you think the rent would be a priority?
Well, because you could lose your house.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. So you understand that there is priority of some things, although boring, have to be paid for first. So how would you feel? Would you be confident about budgeting money-wise?
Yeah.
You'd say, oh, I've got this amount of money. How would you do it, do you think?
Well, you got to plan ahead though, because if you plan ahead, you save more money.
Yes.
Like shopping then.
Are you a saver? Can you save?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Like say, like those who plan ahead are like likely to save more money than those who just go on shopping. Look.
Yeah, I
Fail,
agree.
or I have a saying, fail to prepare, prepare to fail.
It is that, and that's one of the cases where this actually happens. What do you think, Charlotte? Do you think you would be able to cope? What would your weakness be? The cooking, I
I think
think.
it's the cooking, so I
You-
can't cook.
Could you budget money?
No.
But you would be better on that than the cooking. So you'd think, I think I'd be okay looking after myself, but I would need help in budgeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair
And-
point.
You just eat pot
It's
noodle.
like buying the food. If I went and bought the food, it'll be just junk food.
Yes, that's a good point.
Same
Yes.
as
I would buy
lottery.
proper food.
Yeah, go on little whatever.
I like
Yeah.
fresh
I would
cheaper.
go to like.
Because you think- Would you all be tempted then, Brandon, particularly you,
Yes.
that
You would.
say, right, I've got £50 I've budgeted for food, I'm going to spend a lot on crisps, sweets.
No, I think I'd be more
would go and buy
sensible.
You,
different
you,
items.
you're
Because
all
I am-
aware you need to be sensible.
I know we take
Yeah, I
it
just
like
watched
silly,
nuggets
like
and-
buying sweets and all that, but I know like you have got to look after yourself. So we'll be quite sensible in the fact that I don't like buying ready meals. I like to buy like fresh chicken and like buy your pasta, make your sauce. And so you do have to buy those things first, and then if you had a bit of spare money,
So you
then why
enjoy
not
the
treat
cooking
yourself
side,
to a chocolate bar?
wouldn't
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like
I
one
personally wouldn't. I would like to just open tins and things like that so I can see that.
and like
How would
one-
you feel?
I feel good with cooking my own food and that.
You said you can't cook.
But you're
You can
prepared to
learn
learn.
to cook.
I'm
I'm
prepared
Like
to
learning
learn.
to cook.
basic stuff, yeah.
And like I think you should always budget a little bit of money, say like a tenner, for a night out going down Mackey's or something,
Yeah.
and having some eating out.
Yeah, but that you might not have enough money for that. That shouldn't be
Yeah, that's
first
what
on
you
your
mean by
priority
budgeting.
list.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what I
So-
said about budgeting.
Yeah.
You budget
Go to a
£10
savings
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
unlikely
To be
you'll
able to
have
go
£10
out- to go out
unless
and
you're.
eat.
Yeah, but it's more cheaper to
You won't have a lot of
Cook
money.
yourself,
to be
though.
honest.
You don't know. He may, if he plans on working and he finds out he's actually better off, he may well. But he understands he might have to budget for the social side of it, and of course that's way down the list. So you would need to prioritise and learn how to prioritise what you have to pay for and the stuff that you can choose.
It's like when you have to pay keep. Like Mum said,
Yeah.
oh yeah, give me £40, so I give her £40, but she takes £50 instead.
Yeah.
And that's just
Yeah.
over it. Yeah.
What do you think that money covers?
Well, bus fare. Me.
So she takes money off you and then
Yeah.
gives you back in bus fare.
Yeah, but no. Well, I just take she just took 50p out of pound anyway. But I
Do
told
you
her,
know what that £50 covers? Do you know? Does she tell you what she uses it for?
she said she keeps it for keep.
It'll probably be
Do you
for,
know
like,
what keep
electricity
is?
Yeah.
and water.
What do you think she uses that £50 for?
I don't know. Herself, electrics,
Electric,
or for her house.
water,
That's
because you
all-
probably
yeah.
have showers. Yeah, you certainly use the toilet. That all has to be paid for. Has anybody had any idea what the community charge is?
About
In like for
£75.
bins and stuff, bin collection.
Yes, that has to be paid for. And sometimes that can be included in your rent. What about Wi-Fi? Because you're all assuming Wi-Fi's free.
Yeah, you got to
No.
pay for that as well.
It's
You've
just
got to pay
Sky.
for your broadband.
Yeah, you have to pay for broadband. Some flats, not all, have it included in the price. So you would need to shop around to see, oh, I like 2 flats. One has all of this and the other has other stuff missing. So although it's the one that has everything is
It's
£10
still not
more,
worth
it might be
cheaper.
that £10 is better spent getting the more dearer flat because it's offering more stuff. So yeah. As for shopping, how would you shop? Where would you shop?
Um,
Lidl's, Morrison's.
Everyone has like a thing about places like Aldi and Lidl because
Oh,
they
that's
think
really nice
they
food
think
from
because
there.
it's cheaper that it's not as good a quality. So they shop somewhere like Sainsbury's, but really you can get just as good as food at Aldi and Lidl and save so much more money.
Okay.
Like,
Aldi's meat, no, Lidl's meat is amazing. It tastes
So you're prepared to buy what they call the value brands to see how you go because you're expecting not to have much money. Am I getting that right? Are you expecting
I mean,
not to have much?
when you start out, like you don't get paid as much if you're at uni. I expect you to have not as much money as when you're.
So it could only get better then, you're saying. You think, oh, actually, I'm better off than I thought.
Well, I would
be.
hope it would get better.
Yes.
As you get older and you get into a full-time job, and instead of paying rent, you might own a house or a flat.
What
No, but
about
the first
clothes
few years
then?
you're actually throwing your money away whilst you're in the flat.
What do we do with our clothes?
Wash them.
They always appear on our beds, ready to be put away.
No,
Wash
my
them,
mum
wash
makes
them.
me wash
Gotta do it
my
yourself.
clothes.
So you would have to do that yourself. How would you wash? What if you don't have a washing machine?
See,
Sink.
You can take it to the laundry.
I would go to
The rock and the river and the rock.
The river, the rock.
See,
Yeah.
I see those kind of things. I don't do them now because I can't be bothered because I'd rather get done for me. But
Yeah.
I'm prepared that when I move out, I know I'll have to do them,
Right.
which I will
Yes.
because I can do them. It's just I don't because I know someone else to do it for
I
me.
do it myself at home.
No, me.
So
I'll
you
just,
do
my own-
you're
yeah, I do
already
my own
doing it
clothes
anyway.
at home.
Does anybody here know how to use a washing machine?
Yes, because
Yeah.
no one's taught me.
Like when I did it in college.
So you actually know how to use
I've
the
got a
washing
washing
I do
dryer
have
my own
in
wash every day.
I
one.
filled up the
Yeah,
whole
I've
thing
got
with
that.
loads of
So
soap
if I
and
said,
powder.
where would I put the fabric conditioner? You would all know what tray that would go in.
Yeah.
If I said
Mine doesn't go in
Alright,
the tray.
cool.
You get like with certain washing,
Just a scoop.
you get a little
yes,
cup,
that's true.
and you just place it in the actual washing machine.
Yeah.
It goes round with
So
it,
you all know how to do that. Yeah, well done.
and that's what I use.
How would you dry your clothes? If there's
Tumble
no
dryer.
tumble-
Well,
hopefully there's a tumble
Hey,
dryer.
I have-
And if there's
Mum
not,
and Dad
Would
use
you
these
use
little
radiators?
these like clothes horses and they go inside
Ar-
and you
aerials.
just hang your thingies and
you
they
could do that. The worst scenario.
Or hang them
Hang it
outside
over the
in the
bath.
line.
Yeah, yeah.
Aerials.
Or you could
Yes.
use your radiator.
Yes, you could. Yeah. So you would know if there were. I'm just throwing in problems. You know how to solve
And if you
your
had a
problems.
balcony, you could put them over the balcony on like a sunny day. You could
Yes.
get a clothes rack
You
outside.
could, or put them on a clothes horse on the balcony. Yeah. Because there's nothing worse than having a load of wet washing lying around you don't know what to do with.
I already make
What?
my bed.
I already made my bed
I
as
make
well.
my
Making
bed every
beds
morning.
then.
Iron the 2 days, iron the
Pretty
sheets.
easy these days,
Iron
isn't
the
it?
beds.
Compared to in my day when it was blankets and sheets. Do you know how to make bed? Who already makes their bed?
I know.
when they can be bothered.
When you could be bothered, but you at the moment you know.
I
Mum
know
would
how
do
to
it.
do it. See, I
And
know
that's what I'm getting at.
I know how
And I
to
change
do
my
all of
bedding
it.
twice
If
a week.
And you
If
change
my-
your bedding.
if
yeah.
my mum suddenly died,
yeah,
I
yeah.
would be able to do it all because I know how to do it. I just don't do it. So I
Yeah.
know when I move out, I'd be fine to do it because I can do it.
That's what we're getting at. You don't bother at the moment because someone's there doing that for you. That's fair enough. But you do know how to do it if you had to.
Yeah, and it'd be more getting myself into the routine of doing it.
Yes. Yes. Do you think it would work better if you did routines?
Yeah.
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 Short.
Yeah.
I think that's with the training flat, you'd be able to, you would be the one responsible for everything.
Yes.
And if I had like my sisters come round and they stayed for like 2 days, I'll get them doing stuff as well
Yeah. Yeah.
because they're there.
Because you share the work. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's cool.
And that's like I like having a flat. So like if I had a flat, I would ask a mate if he would want to come and live,
Yeah.
because then we
Do you think
put both our monies to get both what we earn together to pay for
that
it.
would be a good idea? That you could share with someone. That would solve maybe your problem of not being a bit nervous living on your own.
It's not just that though, you've got to make sure that they actually contribute to do it.
That's right,
Well, and
James.
sometimes
yes.
it's because my cousins moved into a flat share with a friend, and it's sometimes quite difficult
Fair enough.
because the friend has more money than my cousin, so she wanted like a better place, and it's difficult to agree on where you live, and then you have to split bills. It all can become quite complicated,
It can be.
and then you have to say, oh, you have to both do as much work, and then if you don't like where you're living, or if one's
So-
got more money than the
So
other.
do you think there would have to be like a meeting and
Yeah.
talk
It
about it
takes ages.
to
Like they
work
have
that
to
out
discuss
to
it.
get the
ages.
So do you understand to getting the balance right if you have to share with someone?
It's difficult. It's complicated.
It
It's
can
not
be.
like when it's yourself, you can look for a flat
Do you
You've
think,
budgeted your own money. You can pick whatever flat you want, budget on whatever, clean when you want, cook when you want. When you've got someone else to think about. You can't just do what you want.
so what you're saying is living on your own would suit you better?
Yeah.
How would you cope at night on your own? You think, oh, I'm on my own.
I get a pet.
So would that make you better?
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
most like council flats now, you're not
But I
allowed.
wouldn't have a council flat. It's not a point.
No, a lot of it's
You don't
private
have to
renting.
have. You don't have to have a council flat.
No, you don't. So how would you feel then,
I don't
Brandon?
aspire to have
Would you make your own bed? Do you know how to?
Yeah, I do it all the time.
Right, okay. Do you know how to change your bed?
Yeah.
Okay. How would you cope on your own at night, or would you like to share?
Oh no, I couldn't
It doesn't have to be a friend.
sharing.
It might be someone that you know from college or so.
Could be
Yeah,
your boyfriend or
I
something.
couldn't be doing a sharing.
So
Yeah,
you
but
would
what
like
if you
your
live
own
with
space.
your boyfriend?
Do you like the idea of having your own space?
Yeah.
You walk in the door at night, close the front door. You think, oh, this is my home just for me.
I wouldn't mind
Yeah.
if it was like a partner,
Yeah,
like a boyfriend.
yeah,
But it's more like friends.
right. Do you like that idea, or would you like to share? Would you feel better sharing?
I think I'll be better on my own.
Okay. Or you would prefer
Or
to
I would,
start
like,
on
if
your
I
own,
would
would
share,
you?
then like I'd only share with like a friend or something.
Yeah.
Or your boyfriend or something.
No, I wouldn't.
How do
I'd
you
just
feel
share
about
with
that,
friends.
Cam? What would you like to do?
Well, if I had to share, it'll be with